Long ago, in a sprawling kingdom nestled between jagged mountains and an ancient enchanted forest, magic thrived, but not all of it was kind. The land bore the scars of curses cast by those who sought power or vengeance, leaving its people wary of anything strange or unusual. Among these cursed souls were two beings whose fates intertwined through tragedy and secrets. The first was known as the Beast, a towering creature with fur like shadowed midnight, claws that gleamed under moonlight, and eyes filled with sorrow so deep they could drown an ocean. His roar echoed across the hills, striking fear into the hearts of travelers brave enough to venture near his castle. Once, he had been a prince named Adrian, arrogant and cruel, until an enchantress punished him for his lack of compassion by transforming him into a monster both inside and out. The second was Belle, though her name carried whispers of fear instead of admiration. By day, she appeared human, a radiant young woman with golden hair that shimmered like sunlight on water, and piercing green eyes that seemed to see straight into one's soul. But when night fell, her true form emerged. Her skin turned to shimmering black scales, her fingers elongated into talons tipped with venomous poison, and her voice became a haunting melody that could lure anyone to their doom. It was said that hearing her sing was like tasting forbidden fruit, irresistible yet deadly. Belle's curse came not from cruelty but sacrifice. Years earlier, during a harsh winter that left her village starving, she struck a deal with a malevolent sorceress named Morgana. In exchange for endless harvests, Belle gave up her humanity, becoming a creature of duality. Every sunset marked her transformation, and every sunrise reminded her of what she'd lost and gained. Though separated by circumstance, their paths were destined to cross. One crisp autumn evening, while wandering too far into the woods gathering herbs, Belle found herself surrounded by howling wolves. Fleeing blindly, she stumbled upon an enormous iron gate half hidden by ivy. Beyond it loomed a crumbling castle shrouded in mist. Drawn by curiosity, and perhaps a flicker of hope that someone might understand her plight, she pushed open the creaking gate and stepped inside. Inside, the grandeur of the palace was overshadowed by its emptiness. Dust clung to every surface, and silence weighed heavily on the air. Yet, it was not abandoned. From the shadows stepped the beast, growling low in warning. "Who dares enter my domain?" he snarled, his massive frame blocking the light from the chandelier above. "I mean no harm," Belle replied, raising her hands in surrender. "I seek refuge for the night." The beast hesitated, studying her face. There was something about her gazebo full of defiance and sadness that made him pause. Against his better judgment, he allowed her to stay, though he kept his distance, wary of this stranger who seemed altogether too calm in his presence. As days passed, Belle explored the castle, discovering its secrets and the remnants of the life the beast had once led. She found paintings of him before the curse, his expression smug and cruel. Yet now, beneath the layers of anger and pain, she saw glimpses of vulnerability. They began to talk cautiously, sharing fragments of their stories without revealing everything. When the first full moon rose, Belle dreaded what would happen. She tried to hide away, locking herself in one of the tower rooms, but the beast, sensing her distress, followed her. That night, he witnessed her transformation. Instead of recoiling in horror, He watched silently, his amber eyes reflecting awe rather than revulsion. "You're not afraid?" Belle asked, her scaled hands trembling as she spoke. "No more than you should be of me," he replied gruffly. "We are both monsters, aren't we?" His words struck a chord within her. For the first time, she didn't feel entirely alone. Over the following weeks, their bond deepened. They discovered shared interests in books, music, and dreams of freedom, and slowly, trust began to bloom between them. Belle taught the beast how to control his temper, showing him kindness even when he doubted he deserved it. In return, the beast helped Belle confront her fears, teaching her that being a monster didn't define her worth. However, their newfound peace was short-lived. One stormy night, lightning illuminated the silhouette of a figure standing at the edge of the forest. It was Morgana, the sorceress who had cursed Belle. Furious that her plans were unraveling, she stormed into the castle, her staff crackling with dark energy. "You think love will save you?" Morgana sneered, her gaze darting between Belle and the beast. "Love is weak, only power endures." She revealed the truth. Only love could break either curse, but love wasn't enough unless it came freely from another. Both Belle and the beast would need to find someone willing to accept them fully, flaws and all. "But who could ever love us?" Belle whispered, despair creeping into her voice. The beast looked at her then, really looked at her, and realized the answer had been staring him in the face all along. "Perhaps," he murmured, "we've already found each other." With trembling hearts, they confessed their feelings, choosing to see beyond the curses that bound them. As Belle reached out to touch the beast's paw, her scales began to soften, melting away like frost under sunlight. At the same time, the beast's fur receded, his body shrinking until he stood as a man once more. The sorceress screamed in rage, her power undone by their genuine affection. Though their appearances changed, the scars of their past remained not as burdens, but as reminders of the strength it took to overcome them. Together, Belle and the beast rebuilt the castle, opening its doors to those in need. Their story spread throughout the land, inspiring others to look beyond appearances and embrace the beauty hidden within even the most unlikely places. Adrian, the former beast, struggled to reconcile his new identity with the man he used to be. He worked tirelessly to earn back the respect of his people, using his wealth and influence to help those less fortunate. Meanwhile, Belle continued to grapple with guilt over the lives she had taken during her nights as a monster. To atone, she became a healer, using her knowledge of herbs and poisons to cure illnesses and mend wounds. Their relationship wasn't perfect, they argued. They doubted, and they faced challenges, but it was real. And in their imperfections, they found solace. Love, they learned, wasn't about erasing flaws but embracing them together. Years later, a young girl visited the castle, clutching a book of fairy tales. She marveled at the statues of the beast and Belle that stood in the courtyard, immortalized as symbols of courage and redemption. "Why do they look so happy?" the girl asked her mother. "Because they chose to love each other despite their fears," her mother replied. "And in doing so, they taught the world that everyone has a little bit of monster and beauty inside them." As the sun set over the horizon, casting golden light across the castle grounds, the wind carried a faint melodied sound of Belle singing softly, her voice no longer dangerous but gentle and warm. Somewhere nearby, Adrian smiled, knowing that their story would live on forever.